What up? I was so excited to be here. Okay, so as I've said in the past, 2024, I lost 20 pounds. It was amazing. It was my first time ever losing like a large chunk of weight at one time with great intention. I really got like zoomed into some health practices and I was able to see some success. Like I lost those 20 pounds in about 4 months. And that was a big deal for me. So I was losing like a pound a week. And that was huge. So I am in a stage where I know that I lost that weight in 2024. Life happened. I ended up gaining a little bit of that weight back. Things can happen in your life that's going to throw you off of your path. But one thing that I can say is during my journey of losing that 20 pounds, I learned some staple habits that helped me to get to that level of success and level of weight loss. And I'm really excited to share. I'm actually going to break my 12 like practices. I'm going to break them into 2 different videos because I don't want to go through all 12 in one video. I don't want it to be too long. So I'm going to do 6 in part 1 and then 6 in part 2. But these are the 12 habits that I plan on incorporating back into my life over the next couple of weeks, couple of months. Let's get into it. And I just want to go ahead and give this disclaimer now. If you have any type of background with like an eating disorder or body dysmorphia or any type of like mental health issue that's going to make this conversation really hard to hear, please just log out. I am in no way like equipped to know exactly how to communicate this in a way that's sensitive other than just being honest about my journey. I think that you should live in your body in the most healthy way possible. Like it's not about doing anything for anybody else. It's about doing what makes you happy. You know what I'm saying? I was talking to my boyfriend about that just yesterday, and you know, he appreciates my curves. He appreciates my curves when I'm bigger. He appreciates my curves when I'm slimmer. And for him, he just realizes that when I'm a weight that I want to be, I'm happier, and that's what makes him happy. You know, I'm more confident, and that makes him happy for me. So I think the same thing for you. I don't want to put any type of plan, any type of thoughts or expectations, because I think women in general have so many expectations placed on them just from societal standards, and we don't even need that over here. I'm just sharing my journey, and anybody who is like in a similar mind space that can healthily handle this conversation and like listen to this conversation and can grow from this conversation, like let's do that. Okay, so let's get back to point 1. So the first thing is get a scale. So I'm going to post it somewhere around here, the type of scale that I have. I love it because, number one, I think that you should get on the scale when you're trying to lose weight. A lot of people are like afraid to get on the scale because they think like the number doesn't matter. You know, the number on the scale doesn't matter. The truth is the number on the scale 100% matters. Now, if you're dealing specifically with like a body recomposition type of goal, that's a slightly different conversation because everyone knows that a pound of like muscle is different from a pound of fat. And if you're in a fat loss journey versus a muscle gain journey, or whatever, like things can be a little bit different. But if you're purely just trying to lose weight, especially in the beginning stages, because a lot of times it's easier to lose fat than it is to gain muscle. Like you can lose 20, 30, 40 pounds of fat, 20, 30 pounds in a year and have a lot of that be fat, while it might take you an entire year to gain 5 pounds of muscle. So whenever I watch or listen to anything about weight loss, they always talk about 2 like good metrics: getting on a scale, right? Because then you can actually get the actual number, or using like a tape measure and measuring your waist using a tape measure, because there's very little muscles around your waist that's going to make that number larger. Like if that number is getting bigger around your waist, it's probably fat. So anyway, the scale is important, and I specifically like this one because it helps to track your actual like progress over time. So on your phone, you go ahead and download the app, and you can see over time how your weight is like increasing or decreasing. You can see the slight fluctuations. The way I go about like weighing myself, I choose one day out of the week, and that one day out of the week for me was Saturday. So Saturday mornings, I would get up, I would use the restroom, I would get completely naked, and I would get on the scale, and I would weigh myself. It's important to not have any clothes on. It's important to go ahead and get that first pee out of the way so that you're as light and like true to like what your actual body is. And then the reason why I like to choose Saturday is because I have less stress and I got a full night's rest. It's weird how in a week's time, just from the daily fluctuations of the amount of hours I get because I'm at work and I'm stressed and whatever, like my weight will fluctuate weirdly throughout the week. But from Saturday to Saturday, like I always saw the number decrease from Saturday to Saturday. Number 2, A lot of people now, when it comes to weight loss, they understand that it's a lot easier to not eat 100, 200, 300, 400 calories of food. It's a lot easier to not eat that in a day versus trying to work that off in a day, in addition to whatever else you're already doing. So it just in terms of time, think about it. It's you're saving time if you're not eating those calories, but if you're having to eat those calories and then burn it off, now you're eating, so that's time, and now you're having to work it off, that's time. So that's just one of the multiple ways that, like, when it comes to that balance, the energy balance, it just makes more sense to just not eat the calories. And then also it's just easier to do. Like, it's easier to just cut those calories out of your diet than to eat them and then have to turn around and try to burn them off. So you really lose your weight in the kitchen. Like, you tone your body, you look good, and you get your bikini body shape in the, in the gym. But in terms of like losing the weight, you do that in the kitchen. So I say you have to like cook. Like, that sounds like, this day and age, a lot of people don't want to cook. So easy to grab something quick, and it may even feel healthy, but it's so different than having meals at home that you cook yourself. You know what's in it. You can exactly account for what's in it. A lot of times the things that you would buy, if you made that at home, you wouldn't even eat it because you wouldn't even want that much sugar. You wouldn't want that much salt. You would never use that much oil. You wouldn't even use that type of oil. You wouldn't use that quality of meat. You wouldn't use the quality of vegetables. It's better to just cook at home if you can. Let's get in the habit while you're in your health journey. Just go ahead and cook at home. Number 3, limiting alcohol. There's a few reasons why you want to limit alcohol. I'll speak for myself and my body. Almost immediately once I drink, and I like to drink. I was a bartender for a few years. I know how to prepare a really good drink, a really good cocktail. I like wine. I like red wine. I like a variety. I know how to drink wine. I'm pretty well versed when it comes to alcoholic beverages. So when I drink, I'm drinking to feel something. So I'm having a few. And almost always the next day, I just feel bloated. I feel sluggish. The reasons why alcohol is not great is because it throws off your habits. You're trying to be sharp. You're trying to really build some momentum. And that alcohol is just going to slow you down, like straight up. It's just going to mentally slow you down, physically slow you down. A second thing is it makes you feel bloated. Like, I feel like before I had lost that weight, I literally look back at pictures and thinking back to how much I was drinking, just because of the lifestyle I was having at that time, I just looked swollen. Like, my face looked swollen, my stomach looked swollen. Everything just looked like legit, like swollen. And I think it had to come from the alcohol. The third reason why alcohol, I think, is so tricky, especially when you're like trying to build momentum with your health and wellness journey, and weight loss journey, is you eat things when you're drinking that you don't normally eat. So another thing, like I said, looking back to my the pre 20-pound weight loss, I would go out, I would have a few martinis, and like, I'm getting French fries, I'm getting chicken strips, I'm getting mozzarella sticks. I would never, in my right mind, get those 3 things at the same time. Like, who gets French fries, chicken strips, mozzarella sticks, and mess around and get potato wedges, like fully loaded potato wedges? Like, that's not a balanced meal. That's not a balanced meal. But when you're out drinking martinis, having a good time, drinking your margarita, it's like something about the salty and the oily mixed with the alcohol. It just makes for a good time. And I'm not saying you can never do this, but I think that there is value to locking in for a season and just saying, look, I'm just not going to do it for the next couple of weeks, next couple of months, until I get my next like milestone when it comes to my health and my weight loss. The fourth habit is to really reduce your insulin intake. I'm gonna just have this quick video and like interject this into the previous video. As I was editing it, I realized I don't think I gave the most clear reason, so I'm just going to use this portion instead. So reason why you want to cut down on sugar, some of the reasons, there's so many reasons, but this is a few like general reasons as to why you want to cut down on sugar on your weight loss journey and also in your health journey. One, so when you're eating sugar, it releases dopamine in your brain. Like, dopamine is the addictive hormone that basically says more, 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 more. I want more, more, more. It's the same hormone that you get released to your brain when you like scroll on Instagram all the time, or when you like anything that you're doing that's like a quick hit of like pleasure, because dopamine is basically like a pleasure hormone. You get that with sugar, and it's very addictive. So if you're trying to cut down on the food that you're eating, and if you're trying to be mindful, you don't want to eat things that have a lot of sugar, because it causes you to eat too much of it, because it's like the pleasure is going off in your brain, like, I want more, 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 and you become addicted to it. Another thing is understanding a little bit more about just sugar and how the effect of it on your body. So when you eat a lot of simple sugars, those sugars get introduced into your body, and it basically, the contents of the sugar rushes into your system really quickly because there's no fiber, there's nothing to slow it down, right? So when you eat sugar and fiber together, it comes in slower. So that's why people say eating fruit is better than eating a cupcake, because it might have the same amount of sugar, but fruit has fiber, so it's going to cause the sugar to get introduced a little bit slower into your system, versus a cupcake, the full contents of that sugar is being rushed into your body very quickly, and that matters. So what happens is when you have the sugar, it basically introduces to your mitochondria. The mitochondria is the powerhouse of your cell that converts the food that you eat to energy, like in simple terms, right? When all this sugar comes into your system and you're eating a lot of simple sugar, and even if you're eating too much fruit and you're not, being mindful, all that sugar is too much for the mitochondria to process at the same time. Just think about anything in your life. When you have too much of it, you might be motivated, but if you have too much of something that you need to do, too much work to do, too much of anything, you kind of shut down. So your mitochondria is kind of like, okay, I'm going to shut down for a second because you are giving me too much work to do. You're giving me too much energy, too much food to convert to energy at one time, too much sugar to convert. So it actually asks the pancreas, hey pancreas, can you go ahead and ask insulin to pull up and store some of the sugar so I can focus and figure out what's going on. So insulin literally comes in, takes the sugar and stores it in different places in your body so that the mitochondria can do its work better, right? So it literally, pancreas comes in, increases insulin like at a high level to like get rid of all this sugar, because it's so much sugar, insulin has to be high. Then the mitochondria kind of come back on the scene and looking around for the work, and all the insulin has stored all the sugar, so there's nothing else for the mitochondria to convert into energy. So that's how it was explained to me, like in some of these videos by the Glucose Goddess on YouTube. And basically what happens in that moment, now you're hungry again. So you had all these calories, all this sugar that you introduced into your body, but because your mitochondria, it was too much sugar for your mitochondria to like convert at that time, it ended up getting stored immediately. Like it didn't even get used for anything. It didn't even get converted into energy, which was the whole point of why you had that big old candy bar, was to try to get energy. But instead you got dopamine rush into your brain, right? And then you got insulin come in spiked to come and try to store it. Another thing about sugar, that if you understand more about just overall like insulin and diabetes, sugar, once it's stored in your body, literally gets stored and is in your bloodstream as sugar, right? So I used to not understand the effects of sugar and diabetes and how that can cause like circulation issues and why people with diabetes lose limbs. The reason why is because sugar literally turns your blood into syrup. So it literally slows down the ability of your I think your red blood cells, but your blood cells, they become like gooey and they don't flow. So it literally causes the circulation in different parts of your body to not be as good, because the sugar in your blood has caused the blood cells to get to clump together. It's crazy. And that's why a lot of times you'll see what they call as a glycation, where you see people who have a lot of sugar in their body, they have dark spots. They'll have like a dark neck or like dark places on their body. And why fasting a lot of times will cause those blemishes to go away or to lighten up, it's because literally, if you think about it, a lot of like these blood cells clump together because there's so much sugar, and then you're heating, right? Your body's warm because the inside of your body is warm. It's literally cooking. So it's like cooking these clumps of blood, of sugary blood cells in your body. It literally clumps up and it's cooking in your body. So that process is called glycation. And it's, if you can think of like an image in your brain for it, it's the same as if you have a steak that has like a sugary marinade, it gets that crispiness. That's literally what be right here, that crispiness. Number 5, time restrictive eating. So this actually goes perfectly into the previous step. So sugar intake and time restrictive eating, it goes all into that conversation of insulin resistance, blood sugar. And I'm not going to go super in depth into it. I will share more in another video, and I have shared in a previous video, but I'll share again because this is a really interesting topic for me. Again, like I said, because my mother is diabetes and it runs so deeply like in my family, and I'm just very cautious of it, and I understand the impact of it on your body. I learned about intermittent fasting from Dr. Mindy Pales and reading this book and studying this book Fast Like a Girl. I'm actually going through it and reading it again. This book taught me a lot about the benefits of time restricted eating. One says calories in, calories out when it comes to like weight loss. Intermittent fasting, outside of a lot of really great benefits to your body, cleaning up your body, killing senescent cells that could potentially turn cancerous, and giving you mental clarity, increasing the ketones in your body, helping to regulate and lower your blood sugar and keep your insulin spike, your insulin low. Like there's a lot of great benefits to fasting, but just on a basic level as pertains to weight loss, being in a calorie deficit can be simpler for people who are like me. I'm an all or nothing type of person. So if I just simply tell myself, Jessica, you cannot eat past 9 o'clock and you cannot eat again until 1 o'clock the next day. So that's basically putting me in a 16-hour fasting window. Like I'm automatically going to be restricting my diet, but in a way that's really simple for me because it's kind of like I don't have to think about food. Like anything, any type of food, like good or bad or indifferent, I can't eat during that time period. So restricting my calories just by using time. So there I am with 8 hours in my day that I can eat. Now, if I want to be super clean, which is actually where I'm going in this next phase, is not just, oh, I can eat for 8 hours, knowing that I'm not going to eat too many calories, but instead I'm intentionally going to eat high protein, higher fiber and cleaner during that time. Then you're taking your time restrictive eating to the whole next level. Number 6, choose some type of habit, like health, some type of physical habit, right? Whether it's walking, whether it's jogging, dancing, stair stepper, some type of low impact. And specifically for women, having that like in your back pocket just to say, look, I know that if all else fails, I'll go outside and I'll walk 2-3 miles. I know if all else fails, I'll go outside and I'll swim a few laps around the pool, or I'll go to my local gym and I'll do some swimming, or I'll go to my local gym and I'll get on the bike, the stationary bike, or I'll get on the stair stepper, and just something that's not going to be completely like stressing me out, but it's something that maybe I can do while I'm reading a book, maybe I can do while I'm listening to a podcast, but it's moving my body more than what I was. You really want to get to at the very least 10,000 steps a day. And of course, if you're swimming, then that's like different, obviously. And then if you're biking, that's different. But you really want to just incorporate that exercise that's not gonna really feel like exercise. If that makes sense. The issue is people want to exercise once or twice a week because every time they think about it, they get drained. You want to choose an exercise that's not draining like that. I love Zumba. Zumba is so much fun. Like I can only do it with the group. Like I guess I could do it at home by myself, but I prefer to do it in a group because it's much more fun. So I only get to do it a few times a week because of the class. But if I could do Zumba like pretty much every day, I would do it. It's so much fun. It doesn't feel like exercise. My teacher is so fun. She does like a motivational speech at the end of each of my Zumba classes. Shout out to Shanita at LA Fitness here in Atlanta. She's amazing. But like, it's so much fun. So I'm getting out here, I'm sweating, I'm burning 3, 4, 500 calories every single class, and I don't feel like I'm working out. And I look forward to it. Like I look forward to going there and sweating. Another thing is walking. Like find you a nice little path either around your apartment, around your home, even during your lunch break. Like I've incorporated now, I'm taking at least a 20-minute walk during lunch. If I don't take that 20-minute walk, like I'm upset and I have to make sure I get it after work. But like I'm incorporating more movement. So I'm intentionally cutting down on my diet, right? Cutting down on my calories and also increasing my movement, but not doing it in a way, I'm not doing either thing in a way that is like completely draining and stressful and taxing. And I just feel like overwhelmed and aggravated and irritated and frustrated. Like that's not the goal. The goal is to make this a lifestyle and to make this something that you can actually like fall in love with and it become a part of who you are. So, anyway, that's my first 6 of the 12 like tips that I'm going to share when it comes to my 20-pound weight loss in 2024, the things that I'm going to be picking back up here in 2025 that I want to share with you all. And I'm just excited to go on this journey together. Please like ask questions down in the comments. Like let's start a conversation. I think that something that I really missed in 2024 when I lost that weight was a community because I wasn't really sharing it with people. Like I shared it with a few of my close friends, like very, very close friends, like not even a whole lot of people. But like, cause I was nervous. I wasn't. You don't want to. I am nervous. I don't want to fail, and if I fail, I don't want to fail with an audience. So I didn't want to share because what if I didn't do it? But now I don't care. Number one, but number two, I actually really believe I'm gonna do it. That's really more what it is. I'm so confident. Like I know I'm gonna get the body that I want because I've done it already, to a smaller scale because I'm about to take it to the next level this year and beyond. But like I want to build a community. Like let's be healthy together. Let's grow together. Let's live a healthy, intentional wellness lifestyle together as ladies because we need each other. So let's do it. Bye.